Today I'm discussing Codi Bigsby, the 4-year-old boy missing out of Hampton, Virginia. Let's listen to the first press conference the police had.
4-year-old Cody wandered off, and we don't believe that he was abducted. We think that our investigative efforts, based on the interviews that we've conducted, should remain in this area. We, in particular, are interested in even more help from the public than we've already received. We, anyone in this area or who has been close to this area recently, to look at any surveillance video that they may have, look and see if there are any photos that they may have captured in this area that may have something that we would be interested in. If there is anybody who has any knowledge of the last time Cody was out and about in the city of Hampton or elsewhere, we want to know. That is, at any point in time, if anyone has seen the child, that you've seen his photo, hopefully we've all shared his photo. We are interested in speaking to anyone who has ever seen him. That information is going to be very important to us. In particular, if we could focus our attention on the time that extends from around noon this past Sunday up until yesterday morning at 9 o'clock. We are really interested in speaking to people who may have been in this area around those times. That would be very helpful to us. Sergeant Williams will talk more about how to get that information to us. And again, that's what we're going to be focusing our attention on. I will say we continue to speak to the people responsible for Cody's safety. They are still talking to us. They are still answering our questions. We still believe that they are the key to us finding out where he might be and what may have happened to him.
Is that why there's no Amber
There's no Amber
Alert?
Alert because we've worked with Virginia State Police to discuss the criteria, which we are deeply familiar with. This case is not an Amber Alert case. Sergeant Williams will talk more about that as well.
Again, you have more people helping you in the search today, more agencies. Can you just speak to who's helping along with FBI?
So Sergeant Williams will be able to talk about that as well. All right, I'm going to let him speak, and then we can get questions.
Good morning, thank you all. So some additional points that we want to cover this morning is we're establishing a role for the general public to help us assist in this search. So at the conclusion of this press conference, we're going to have a link available on our social media sites that enables the public to sign up to assist us. At this time, we're only seeking the first 50 volunteers. We need to be able to coordinate the volunteers and be able to determine where they're searching and have an accurate way to track where those volunteers are going to be working with our staff. Some important things to know about that is the volunteers need to be capable of walking long distances outside in the cold weather, and we're asking them to have a valid photo ID available. As I said, the first 50 are only going to be used, and after you sign up, please wait to be contacted. We'll contact you if we need you. Additionally, I want to reiterate the point that Chief Talbot said about we're seeking information on when the public saw Cody last, when that was, where he was, who he was with, and what they were doing. That information is extremely important to us, and it's extremely important to the investigation. You can get that information to us by visiting p3tips.com. You can follow the prompts on there to submit a tip to Hampton Police, and we'll be able to receive and review those tips. We might not be able to respond to every tip that we receive, but it's important to know that we have received it and we're going to pass it on to the appropriate personnel. You can also contact us at the crime line at 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP. With regard to the Amber Alert, we've received numerous questions in terms of why an Amber Alert has not been issued. We have basically determined that the criteria for the Amber Alert has not been met. We have conferred with state police on numerous occasions to confirm that that criteria is not met. And the specific elements of the criteria that has not been met refers to, at this point, we don't believe that an abduction has taken place. There's no information to lead investigators to believe that Codi has been abducted, and we don't have information to pass on or to fit the criteria with regard to that element. Another element would be who the abductor would be, where that abductor is traveling, what they're wearing, what vehicle they're in. That element of the criteria simply does not exist. So aside from that, we're using all of our available resources to put this information and get it out to the public. Of course, with the media's assistance, all of our social media, this story has been shared hundreds of thousands of times, and we ask you to continue to share that to get this information out. That's all I have for you this morning, and we'll take questions as we can answer them to the best of our ability.
Is Codi's mom on? Is she here in town?
Codi's mom is in town, and we are speaking to her.
And I noticed you used the language of people responsible for his safety. Is that switched from parents? Is that a different role?
There are a number of people beyond his parents that we are speaking to.
Why don't you believe he was abducted?
The investigation does not indicate that he was abducted. There's just no reason to believe it. We certainly are open to that as a possibility. It is not likely.
So the circumstances surrounding when he was last seen, is that reliable information that comes out? Or...
No, it is not reliable.
Is the history of that different?
I do not want to comment on that.
Is that the reason for the new timeline with the not reliable information from family?
The evidence that we have does not completely match the stories that we have received at this point. So we are opening up our focus in terms of the time that we are interested in. We will work as if he's out there waiting for us to find him.
Should we read you any similarities here with the Montana case? Or...
I don't have a comment.
What agencies are involved in the search at this point?
Sergeant Williams.
So the biggest agency that has joined the search this morning is the Virginia Department of Emergency Management. They will be bringing in additional resources and personnel to assist in the search.
What are those resources?
Staff, equipment, mainly staff and equipment at this point, personnel, expertise, things of that nature.
What do you talk about let the community help with the search and why that was
Sure. We have a role to play for our residents. Not only will the residents be instrumental in getting us the information that we need to figure out what happened, and make no mistake about it, the information is here. We believe the information is here. We want to bring the residents into this in a way that makes sense given our resources and given what we know. And what we learned throughout the investigative process has led us to want to bring the public in to expand the possibility of searching not only what we've already done, we're going to have them go back and look again to make sure sometime in the middle of the night we didn't miss a small detail that might be instrumental. But as I said, there's a role to play here.
Can you kind of
I do not have her name.
Can you kind of narrow in on
where this information is, are we talking about, he could be here in this neighborhood in Hampton on the peninsula? Like, what's the circumference of this search zone?
It is likely that he is here in the city of Hampton. It is more likely that he is here close to his home, which is adjacent to me here to my left and to your right. So the further that we get away from his home, the less likely it is that he's going to be found, and the less likely that we're going to find information. We haven't ruled anything out. We are searching the hardest in the areas where he is most likely to be found, obviously, but
He was living
also
with his dad,
further
right?
out.
That was the situation. It was just him and his dad in the house.
Correct.
Chief, can you expand a little bit on, you just said that the evidence does not match the stories we have heard. Can you expand on that? What do you mean by that?
I think that's self-explanatory. The evidence doesn't match what we've been told, so we need to investigate further, and we need the help of the public so that we can find anybody who may have seen this child or even anything that might be related to this investigation. We feel strongly that somebody listening can be helpful. We feel very strongly about that.
Have the parents not told you enough to connect the dots on the stories that are not adding up with the evidence that there is?
We probably won't know for certain how much is being left out until we find this child.
But isn't that really the concerning thing, that the parents, the people that were responsible for his safety, are telling you stories that are not adding up to the evidence that you have?
That is the crux of the investigation. We have to figure that out.
And last night we had cell crews searching through dumpsters in the neighborhood. Is that just part of searching the whole area? Or?
Right. We will search every place he could possibly be. Every place he could possibly be, we will look. We're not searching dumpsters because we believe he's there. We are searching dumpsters because he could be there.
There was a dumpster search last night. Nothing came of that. Or did something come from that?
I can answer that, Chief. So, as with any investigation, with regard to specific evidence that we find or did not find, we're unable to go into that at this time. So, any questions that regard evidence that we're locating or have located, we're not able to expand on that at this time.
That is a possibility.
And Chief, is there a person of interest that you want to hear?
There is a person of interest. We are most interested in Cody's parents.
Are there any water searches going on in the area at this time?
Yes.
And are you doing a door-to-door search around here as well, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Are you all working with any other search parties that aren't related? Because I know there are some neighbors that are thinking of banding together.
Yes.
If you have any information about the whereabouts of Codi Bigsby, please contact the number you see on your screen, 1-800-CALL-FBI. I want to get into the Hampton Police Department's press release. The Hampton Police Division, along with our federal and regional partners, have conducted a very thorough search since the time Codi Bigsby was reported missing on January 31st, 2022. We have covered a tremendous amount of good, spoken to hundreds of citizens, and followed every possible lead. At this time, Codi still has not yet been found. Our search efforts to find Codi will continue throughout the weekend. As a result of the investigation, Mr. Codi Bigsby is now under arrest. He has been transported to adult intake, where he has been charged with 7 counts of felony child neglect. This is not the conclusion of the investigative process. We will continue to do everything in our power to find Codi. Members of the media are invited to attend a press conference scheduled on Friday, February 4th, 2022 at 12 p.m. Okay, I want to get into this post right here because a lot of people want to know where the mother is, why hasn't she been seen, and does she have anything to do with it. I cannot verify the validity of this post. This person makes some accusations. I have not been able to independently verify that this person is who they say they are and that this information is accurate. But the post says a lot of things that are on a lot of people's minds, so let's get into it. Again, the only reason I blocked the name out is because I couldn't verify the accuracy of this post. But here's what it says. For all of y'all who keep commenting on these posts talking about that's your friend's kids and his father did it, mind your business. Ask your friend why she wanted to have the kids, but wanted nothing to do with them and haven't seen them in over a year. Ask her why she's so trifling that she didn't get to the area till after 10 p.m. if she's such a great parent. Ask her why and how great he took care of her and her child that wasn't his. Y'all and y'all friend can go straight to hell. Those children have a great dad who does everything he can for them and loves them like she couldn't and don't. Okay, but ask her about her history with her children. Cody's dad and his family are very supportive of him. He is a happy, well-loved child, and all four of those children are very well taken care of by their single father with absolutely no help from their mother, who is still receiving government benefits for those children in D.C. while they reside in Hampton. Now run tell that. Again, I don't know the validity of that post, but the main thing is, where is the mother and what happened? Now I get it. There are a lot of absent fathers in the households, and a lot of times when fathers are absent, people don't ask too many questions. But when a mom is not around, there are tons of questions. I'm not gonna lie. I'm biased as a mom. I have questions. I'm also aware that some of you may be saying, Hampton, this sounds familiar. If you're familiar with my channel, then you know we covered the case of Noah Tomlin, baby Noah. Noah Tomlin also went missing and was murdered by his mother, and the same police department had to deal with that. As a matter of fact, the police department is actively searching the area where Noah's body is found. Not because they have an indication that baby Cody would be there, but because baby Cody might be. At this point, baby Cody could be anywhere. I've seen some different things about the mother has mental difficulties, and that is why she is not involved. There was some alluding to possible postpartum situations, postpartum psychosis, not depression, which is a high level of postpartum. It's a type of postpartum that usually causes people to hurt the children. Um, Unfortunately, I don't think postpartum is diagnosed in men, but I hope that this man, if he did what he's alleged to have done, to the seven other charges he's facing of neglect and possibly to something that he did to Cody, I hope he wasn't overwhelmed. I hope that it wasn't too much for him and that this is the end result. Either way, baby Cody has to be found. At this point, there needs to be a special division in every state that is required to check on children. And no, not CPS. No, not DIFUS. I'm talking about anytime that there's allegations of abuse, maybe you should have to have constant contact until that the child is at an age where they can advocate for themselves, where they know if something bad happens, just tell this person. The first chance you get to safety to tell, and you'll be taken care of. And hopefully, fathers and parents out there who need help with kids, who need some time away, can start to get that. Because I think that COVID and the mental breakdown that being locked down and a pandemic has caused is starting to show. And our most vulnerable people in society are being affected, children. With that being said, we're going to get into the press conference that happened today, February 4th, 2022, with the Hampton Police Department on the updates of Codi Bigsby and his father, Codi Bigsby. I will probably later go live and discuss some of the questions the reporters had, including the allegations that Cody's father, Corey, was not allowed his lawyer.
Chief Talbot to the podium.
Okay, again, I'm Mark Talbot. I'm the police chief for the Hampton Police Division. I'd like to echo Sergeant Williams' comments, thank our partner agencies, thank the public for all of their support. Without them, we would not have been able to travel as far as we've been able to travel in this investigation at this point. This is easily one of the most comprehensive investigations that I've been a part of, and it will continue to be. I would just like to remind everybody, we are all assembled here on behalf of 4-year-old Codi Bigsby. Codi Bigsby was reported missing by his father on January 31st at about 9 o'clock in the morning. Mr. Codi Bigsby, who is a 43-year-old male, called 911 and reported that his 4-year-old son, Codi, was missing. Mr. Bigsby reported that his son was missing from his home on Renelette Drive here in the city of Hampton. The Hampton Police Division responded, including our patrol division and our detective bureau as well. We immediately began searching inside and outside of the residence. Following our search of the residence and search of the surrounding area, we immediately contacted our partner agencies and deployed as many resources as we possibly could on that first day. That has continued up until today. While we were searching, Mr. Bigsby and his children were transported to our detective bureau to help us with the investigation. Mr. Bigsby, ultimately, through the investigation that we conducted, was arrested and charged with 7 counts of felony child neglect. This was based on his report of leaving his children home alone. He reported that he left home alone his 5-year-old, his 4-year-old, and his 2-year-old twins. This was reported to have occurred on numerous occasions. He reported that it was too much of a burden to bring his kids along with him. Our investigation is not over. It will not end with that arrest. In fact, in some ways, our investigation is going to start and become more intense now. Our partners, in particular, our partners with the FBI, have provided us with an extensive amount of forensic data for us to review and process and follow up on. That will take an extended period of time. We have many interviews to conduct. We still have areas to search, and we have many leads to follow. We will not stop here with this arrest. With that, do you have any questions?